I just gotta ask, how does Gohan keep finding himself in these situations? I know I made the same joke on Twitter. If you aren't following my Twitter, I'm gonna leave a link to it in the description below in the top comment. Go ahead, follow me there. Let's bolster those numbers. But in all seriousness, I really didn't think that I was going to be making a video going back to the Tournament of Power, specifically the Tournament of Power in the manga, but we actually have a brand new Dragon Ball fan animation that finally gives us the Gohan versus Kefla fight that we really were robbed of during the manga's run. Now, the manga's Tournament of Power honestly is a mixed bag for me. There are a lot of things that actually work that make the tournament much better, in my opinion, way better than the anime version, but then there are a lot of things that don't work, specifically this. But there is one thing that is almost on the border, and that is the Gohan versus Kefla fight. Now, the fight itself, when it first starts out, is actually pretty good, and it makes a lot of sense. Kefla basically flops Gohan pretty easily and even mocks him, asking him if he can even turn Super Saiyan, and that is when Gohan explains he doesn't need to anymore. The other characters encourage this sentiment, saying that yeah, he's far stronger now than he was before and doesn't really need to go into the Super Saiyan transformation, and that is when Gohan straight up throws Kefla and explains that he decided to further his progression as a human as opposed to a Saiyan, which is cool, sounds cool, but he actually got his elevated state and his hidden potential released by not only Guru but also the Elder Kai. So all this stuff about being human, this is not about being human. He got all this stuff from a Namekian and a Kai, and that just unleashed what was already there because he's half Saiyan, half human. Nevertheless, this is where the actual negative portion of the fight comes into play for me, and that is we don't get to see it. We don't get to see any of it. We cut back to Gohan and Kefla looking all beat up, and we don't get to see what the fight actually was. We just get to see the very ending of the fight and their subsequent knockout, and this actually gives us some insight into how strong Gohan is in the Tournament of Power for the manga, or how weak Kefla is in the Tournament of Power's manga, because we don't really know. Is Gohan strong enough to take on a fusion that even Goku had an issue with, which was one of the best fights in the anime? Or is this version of the fusion just weak enough to face off against Gohan? And the real question is, do we accept Ultimate / Mystic Gohan without his little hairbang? Because I absolutely do not, and it makes it extremely confusing because we don't know if he's in a normal state or is he in a elevated state like he was at the end of the Buu arc. I guess in the anime it kind of confuses you because he does have to train and get better, and we get to see all that. In the manga, we don't get to see the entirety of that training. So again, mixed bag for me, but today's Dragon Ball fan manga sheds some light on exactly what went down when this fight actually happened and gives us this animation in all its perfection. Today's Dragon Ball fan animation comes to us from Alex on Twitter and YouTube, a first-time animator who has created a bunch of works on his YouTube channel. He even has an animation demo reel of the things that you can find on there. Plus, we have his Twitter where this animation actually was dropped. So I'm gonna leave links to Alex's stuff in the description below in the top comment. Make sure you go ahead and check it out and follow him and subscribe to him for more content, because this guy is going places, especially with how much work and skill it took to get this animation to where it is right now. So as of right now, this animation has no audio, so I just have some music playing in the background, but we get basically Gohan punching Kefla right in the face as she goes flying back into one of the rubble piles. Now, this animation is extremely smooth, extremely slick, realistic, and it looks very similar to some of the animations we've seen here in the past, where they are made by very beginner's tools, but it doesn't matter what tool you use as long as you have the skill, and the skill is absolutely there. Just from the onset of this absolutely takes place during that cut sequence that we get in the manga, where we don't really get to see the fight between Gohan and Kefla. It cuts from their initial engagement all the way till their final blow, which in my opinion completely sucked, because I really love Kefla's design and that version of Kefla from the manga. Not to say I don't like the bulky, stronger looking one in the anime, but I like this one because she's got giant hair, she looks more lean, and it just fits a little bit more, in my opinion, with what two extremely lean and skinny chicks fusing together would actually look like. Now, Kefla's trying to catch Gohan, and Gohan is evading every move that she has until Gohan comes in for some close quarter combat. But as we know from Kale and Caulifla, they excel in close quarter combat, and that is why Gohan gets raffle stomped as soon as he gets into her vicinity. But he immediately realizes that he needs to hit her from a distance because that is where her weakness lies, and so he hits her with a tremendous Kamehameha wave, and she almost gets knocked out from it. But Gohan didn't realize that she is far stronger than she looks, and she absolutely blocks the Kamehameha wave even when Gohan puts his 110% into it, and she is able to completely evaporate it and force it to blow up right then and there, so that way she does not get knocked out, leaving both of them to basically stare each other down. And it is believable now that we've seen this, why they are so beat up, why they are so exhausted. And you see Kefla right here, that she is having a great time. She is 100% Saiyan through and through. Gohan is a little bit more exhausted, and I think that this shows a little bit more of the realistic side of what this fight actually is. We only get to see them at the end where they're beat up, both of them beat up, although Gohan looks a little bit more beat up. But at the same time, I think that Kefla, even if you look at the anime, you look at this, from what we got, even the knockout, the mutual knockout, I do think that Kefla is a little bit stronger than Gohan. They have different abilities, they have different prowesses and things that they are better at and stronger in, but I think that Kefla, because of the fact that she's fused, because of the fact that she is pure Saiyan, and she has been fighting non-stop consistently, and even in the manga it is stated that Gohan has not been fighting non-stop consistently. He has a day job that he is at most of the time, and then practices and trains a little bit on the side. Yeah, Kefla I think should have won this, but what ended up happening is that she didn't realize how strong the Kamehameha wave was when it came to Gohan hitting her with it, and that is from this animation alone, and that is what really surprised her and put her system in shock. You could tell the shock that she's in once she's actually handling that Kamehameha wave. And so when they actually go for their standoff and they are about to jump in to their ending punches, you can tell that she has actually exerted herself a little bit more than what she is letting on that she did. And that, in my opinion, just kind of dissecting this fan animation and taking bits from the manga and the anime, is the reason that they both knocked each other out. Even though Kefla, in my opinion, is a little bit stronger, I think that from the get-go she underestimated Gohan completely, and that is seen in the actual manga, where she makes fun of him for the fact that she thinks that he cannot transform, and that she kind of looks down on him a little bit for not going the Saiyan route and going more of a different culture's route. She doesn't really know that he's half or part that culture, so probably to her it seems a little bit weird that Gohan is even doing that. But the ending punch, in my opinion, is the highlight of this animation. The setup for it, Gohan honing in all his ki and trying to get himself nice and elevated. He doesn't go into a Super Saiyan transformation. He doesn't even exert ki outside that we can see, as opposed to Kefla, who does. He kind of just goes into like a more zen state, and when they punch each other, the entire arena glows up, and that is the punch that we see in the manga that knocks both of them out of the arena, and that is the end of their fight. This animation is fantastic, Alex. Keep it going. Keep going with this. I love the concept. I love the fact that we didn't get to see this and you animated it. If we have other fights that we did not get to see or that we'd like to see a little bit more or finally see animated, then I would go with those, honestly. I would honestly love to see Goku, Vegeta versus Zamasu. I think that would be a really, really cool fight to finally see fully animated. I think you have a lot of skill to do that, or just do anything that you want, honestly. But again, guys, make sure you subscribe to his channel and follow him on Twitter. And if you made it to this point in the video, you are now part of the hashtag End of Video Squad. Then you guys so much for all your support. Make sure to drop that comment with that hashtag for a chance to be featured in my next video. Today I'm going to be responding to Lord Moro. Now we need the 400k mortal plan. Ever soul counts. I'm assuming you said every soul counts because it absolutely does. Hail Lord Blackscape. And 400k, I mean, if we keep going at this rate, honestly, we could see it by the end of this year. That would be pretty dope. I think it's completely possible because we are almost 2,000 up from the 300k mortal plan. It's only been a few days. Thank you so much for your comment, Lord Moro. You are the Lord that we should hail. This is going to be Blackscape signing off. Take care, guys.
Subscribe for more content.